ladies, Devon Brown here again with another No BS Dating Success tip. And as always, if you're not watching this video on my blog, be sure to check out my blog at howtogetamannow.com, and be sure to pass this video on to any of your girlfriends, your mom, she's single, your cousin, whoever you need to. Pass it along to all the single ladies in your life and tell them to check out howtogetamannow.com. So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is a piece of advice that I give to all of my girlfriends. Now, before I tell you what this piece of advice is, let me ask you a question. Have you ever, because that's good English, have you ever been in a situation where you think a guy might be looking at you from across the room and you're waiting for him to approach you, or you're waiting for him to make a move, but he never does? And you're thinking to yourself, well, why didn't he approach me? Why didn't he come up and talk to me? Well, the reason that he didn't come up and talk to you is because men are scared to death of you. All right, and I don't think women actually understand how much or how intimidating you can be with regard to us, us guys coming up and starting a conversation with you. You are extremely intimidating, and a lot of men suffer from, and I'll use that term kind of loosely, what's called approach anxiety. There's an immense amount of anxiety that comes with the thought or the action of actually approaching a woman. And the more attractive you are, the higher my level of approach anxiety. And so I say all of that to give you this piece of advice. If you want the guy to approach you, then you have to let him know you're interested. Today's piece of advice is let him know that you're interested. Sometimes what men need in order to approach you is they need to know that you're not going to say no. One of the reasons that I won't approach you is because I think you're ultra attractive and I don't want to get rejected, because let's face it, nobody likes rejection. I don't care if you're a frog or a boll weevil or a possum, or I don't know about those animals specifically, but the reality is that nobody likes to get rejected. You don't like getting rejected, I don't like getting rejected. That's just human nature. Now, the thought of getting rejected is made worse if you're hanging out with a group of your girlfriends. Because if I see you in that group of 4 or 5 women and I come up to you and you reject me, now, not only did you reject me, but now all of your girlfriends are snickering about it and all that other fun stuff. So, I'm actually more likely to approach you if you're by yourself. I'm not suggesting that you go out and start hanging out at bars by yourself all the time, but understand what's going through a man's mind. Number one, it's easier for me to often approach you if you're by yourself and not around 13 other women. Number one. Number two, I'm already intimidated by you because I find you attractive, and I have suffered from approach anxiety, and I'm scared to approach you. And again, I'm using the word I in the general sense of the word as far as guys are concerned. So the question becomes, well, Devon, how do I let a guy know that I like him? And there are very overt ways to do this, and there are very subtle ways to do this. An overt way might be like a young lady did to me in the club a couple of years back. She comes up to me and she says, what did she say? She said, "You got any kids?" And she just came up with attitude. She's like, "You got any kids?" And I was like, "No, I don't have any kids." She was like, "You got a girlfriend?" And I was like, "No, I don't have a girlfriend, but I might be actually accepting resumes." And I was like, "Do you have an application?" And she was like, "Well, this is the application." I was like, "All right, that's great." But that was a very overt way of coming up and saying it. She was like, "No BS." She said, "You got any kids? You got a girlfriend?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Great, you are mine." Now, that was a little extreme. That was a little what's the word I'm looking for? I was a little strong, but because I found her attractive, it wasn't actually a turn off. It was a turn on because I found her attractive anyway. So like, all right, cool, that works. But chances are you're not going to want to be that overt or that strong. So let's talk about some more subtle ways to do it. Way number one, eye contact. If I'm looking at you and you catch me looking at you, hold eye contact for a couple of seconds and then break it. So don't stare at me or don't just immediately look away. Let me know that you see me looking at you, okay? Let me know you see me looking at you. And it's okay to break eye contact. But then, don't be surprised if I don't come up to you. Don't be surprised if I don't come up to you. A couple seconds later, look over again to see if I'm looking at you again. When you make eye contact with me for the second time, assuming I haven't come up to you, smile. Sometimes that smile, that little smile, is all I need in order to muster up the courage to come up and talk to you. That little smile is saying, yes, if you come and talk to me, I'm not going to reject you. Or, yes, if you come and talk to me, I'm going to reciprocate the interest that you're showing me. And sometimes it's all I need. Now, if after a couple of times, if you're trying to make eye contact with him and you giving him a smile, he doesn't come up and say something to you, then it's okay to be a little bit harsh and be like, hey, what are you waiting on? An engraved invitation, damn it? You don't have to say damn it at the end of it, but you get what I'm saying, because sometimes guys are stupid. Sometimes you got to hit us over the head with a baseball bat. I guess you like that one, Tara.
Yep.
You got to hit us over the head with a baseball bat and say, yes, damn it, I want you to come and talk to me. And it's okay to talk to us like that. So that's number one. Eye contact, make it, break it, make it, smile, right? And you can do this little push-pull thing. Push, I'm looking at you, it's kind of pull, and then I'll push you away. And you can do that, but it's got to be, you got to make sure that it's fun, that it's playful, and that the real essence of what you're trying to portray to him is, yes, I notice you looking at me, and I'm okay with you looking at me. And the smile indicates, not only am I okay with you looking at me and noticing me, but I am also noticing you. And I'm glad that you're noticing me. And that was a lot of noticing, and I hope that made sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's number one thing. Time?
I have 5:55.
Cool. So that's number one. Number two thing that you can do is you can get in his way. Let's, for example, pretend you're at a bookstore. And you see a guy, and he's on the aisle. You guys are both on the same aisle, and he's looking at some book. You can go and position yourself, and by the way, this is great also to do in a club if there's a guy at a bar or something like that. You can go and position yourself kind of in his way so that when he backs up or has to turn around, he has no choice but to bump into you. This is a natural way to start a conversation. Oh, he bumps into you. It's, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Oh, no, it's my fault. And you can say something fun like, well, you know what? I think it was very rude for you to back into me like that. I think you owe me dinner. You don't have to be that overt, but you get what I'm saying. That might be a little strong. But to be honest with you, if a woman actually ever said that to me, I'll be like, hell yeah, I owe you dinner. That'll work. Those are two of the ways that you can do it. Number one, make eye contact, and a little smile goes a long way. Number two, position yourself so that you're in front of them. And I'll give you one more that you guys might think is childish, but I actually had this done to me a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was great. In all honesty, it falls under the category of going back to the old, or bringing fifth grade back, if you will. I had a girl actually come up to me and said, hey, my friend likes you. And the reason she came up and said that is because one of my buddies was talking to the girl and was like, oh, go tell my friend Devon that your friend likes him. And isn't that fifth grade? No, it's not fifth grade. Go up and say that. So the girl comes up to me and says, hey, my friend likes you. Now, unfortunately, the friend was freaking obliterated drunk, so I wasn't going to have anything to do with her because she was stumbling everywhere, and that's not sexy. But I actually did appreciate her coming up to me and saying, hey, my friend likes you. And as it turned out, her friend was extremely attractive, and I was interested in her friend, except for the whole drunk thing. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that it makes sense to take it back to elementary school and say, hey, and go and not be scared to go up to somebody and say, hey, my friend likes you. That sometimes we all have the need or the urge to do that. We want to be like, hey, go tell that person I like them. Because we're separating ourselves a little bit. We're creating some distance, if you will, between ourselves and the rejection or the possible rejection. So that actually makes sense. There's a buffer zone between the rejection, somebody saying no right to your face, versus the possibility of somebody saying no through your friend. It's a little bit easier if your friend breaks the news that they're not interested, or that the other person has a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So on that note, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You sure?
Love it.
All right, thank you. All right, so on that note, I think that's about it. The key that I wanted you to get out of today was let him know that you like him. You can be overt and be like, excuse me, you got a girlfriend? Or you don't have to be that overt, or you can be subtle. Eye contact, smile, positioning yourself in his way, things of that nature. So hopefully you found this tip helpful. And the absolute least, I want you ladies to understand that most men are actually extremely scared of approaching you. Most men suffer from what's known as approach anxiety, and it's going to take a little encouragement, if you will, for us to approach you very often. So on that note, I think that's about it. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.